Hello, let's get into the new 2007-2010 versions of Office and the ribbon. It's all about the ribbon, baby. This is presented by lunchlesson.com, and it's part of our continuing series of getting people more comfortable with their software. All the lunch lessons are geared toward busy professionals, and you should find something you like by looking at the menu at lunchlesson.com. In this particular lunch lesson, we're going to go into the ribbon and what happened to the missing drop down arrows and all the drop down menu commands and things like that. How to transition more smoothly from older versions, 2003 and earlier, to the 2007 and 2010 versions of Office and things like that. And it is all about the ribbon, baby. So at the end of this lesson, we will go into how to fully use the ribbon interface, and it's actually called they call it the Fluent User Interface. So anyway, uh, let's begin by talking about drop-down menus. So be honest now. How many of you opened up 2007 or 2010 and immediately said, "Whoa, what happened to the drop-down menus?" Come on, raise your hands. Don't be shy. No one can see you. In 2007, with the introduction of the ribbon, Microsoft stopped producing the drop down menus entirely. They are gone, and I mean gone, gone. You can't even go back to the classic view or whatever they would call it for the operating system. So when they replaced things with the ribbon, they did it in an all-encompassing way, and they created a thing called the Office button, which sat in the upper left-hand corner, and you couldn't even see anything unless you put your mouse on there, and it said Tooltip Office button. But the file, edit, view, and all those gone. All right. That's actually nothing new. This is the standard thing with Microsoft. Sure, they don't take the drop-down menus away every version, but they shuffle stuff around. It used to drive me crazy how an option that was in one menu would jump 3 menus to the right, or it would be 3 layers deep now into several menus. You know, relearning an application every single time it comes out is not that fun. And the funny thing is, I learned how not to, and then I started teaching. Because I learned the principles way, way back that have never really changed. And we went into that in the earlier part of the lunch lesson about just easing the growing pains. But regardless, I learned all these principles about how to never suffer with a new program. And then I went into teaching the folks how to use new applications, and I had to relearn them anyway. Regardless, every time you get a new version of a program, you're going to have to relearn unless you learn those constants, those principles that never change. In 2010, in Office 2010, they actually bring back the file menu. They don't have all of them. It's actually not even called a file menu, but regardless, it's a tab just like any other tab on the ribbon. But it has things like printing and saving and stuff like that. Those kind of options that you would be used to seeing under file. I guess so many people complain that it kind of became a reality. Now, if you'd really like to have some fun, open up Word and go to Print Preview. As a matter of fact, let me flip over to a Word document here. Okay, I've done nothing. I haven't modified the ribbon or anything. All right, this is the user interface. Notice it's got File. This is 2010. Now, if you're in 2007, you're not going to see this. You're going to see a little button up here that's got the Microsoft Office logo, and it looks a lot like the Windows logo. But regardless, you would click that button, and then you would get all the menu options that are under File. But back to the task. How do you print preview? You know, it used to be on your standard and formatting toolbars that were up on the top of the screen here. You used to be able to see things like that. I don't see that here. All right, I'll show you the secret here in just a minute. But I just wanted you to see, you try to do something common like a simple print preview, you're going to be surprised at how hard it is to find some things. Okay, back to our presentation here. It does not have to be difficult. Like I said, if you go back and look at the lunch lesson on easing the growing pains, you will see that there are several techniques that work throughout every version of Windows, always have for the last 20 years. Who knows what's coming up next? Maybe it'll be a thought control thing and you won't need to worry about it. But regardless, these principles will carry you through from any prior version straight into 2007 and 2010. Okay, let me flip back to my document here real quick. If I were to do this the old way, the way I've been doing it for years and years, when I go to print something, I don't go File, Print. I do Control P. Hey, look at that, it works. Control P brings up all the printer stuff. So I can do my printer previews, I can tell it what printer to go to, all these settings. And notice what it did. It just took me to the file drop down. If I were in 2007, it would have opened the Office button and gone to the print settings there. Okay, again, like I said, anytime you see these little black things, these little black drop down arrows, click them because it has further options. Okay, don't be afraid to hit those. You're not going to actually select anything. Okay, so by the way, I hit the escape key to get out of that. Your bestest buddy is the escape key. Okay, so just little things like keyboard shortcuts and using those and getting used to using those makes it so that you don't have to learn the new ribbon. If you just learn a few, even 10 keyboard shortcuts, I mean, most people use maybe 4 or 5. But if you use, say, like 10, you'll be in the top 1% of users that I've ever run into in the last 20 years. If you learn to use, say, 20 of them on a regular basis, man, you'll be maximizing your use of the program. Alright, so let's make this transition as smooth as possible, and Microsoft has actually gone out of their way to make that possible. Microsoft, with the 2007 and 2010 interface, made a huge departure from the way their standard mode of operation. The way they traditionally did it was they did whatever they wanted, and you had to adjust accordingly. I was there at Microsoft doing consulting work when they launched the 2007 version of Office and Microsoft Windows Vista. So it was an interesting time, and some things, just a little history for you guys. Bill Gates had stepped down as CEO and become head of programming again. That's huge, okay? Think about it. The company was founded off of him and Paul Allen's programming skills. So him stepping down from leading the company to being the head of how things were being programmed made a huge difference. It actually introduced a delay on the release of products that were already behind schedule. So they actually kind of made it 1.5 times or 2 times as long of a release date than what was previously scheduled. However, one of the net results was this common user interface through all applications, and that was the goal. They didn't completely do that in 2007 when Vista first came out. With 2010, it's looking like it's a little bit more pervasive, and it's actually showing up in Windows 7 and 2010. You'll see it. Pretty much everything has the ribbon. They took in suggestions from families, home users, business users. They actually took in over 1 billion suggestions. 1 billion suggestions. That's an awful lot. They took it all in, they adjusted accordingly, and they produced what you see when you get into Office 2010 and Office 2007 products. Alright, to make life a little bit easier, I don't know why nobody knows this, and you would kind of think this might be built into the program somewhere, so you could click a button that says help with user interface. You have just got to look at this. I absolutely recommend and fully endorse this. And if you're looking at this slide presentation on Google, you will see that this is a link. Go use this link. It's the 2003, 2007, and 2010 menu tool. They actually have a tool that assists you with transitioning. Alright, as a matter of fact, let me flip over to their website here. You're going to see my presentation in just a second. And let's go over to Office Ribbon. Right here, you have interactive guides. Okay, find familiar Office 2003 menu commands in the new Office ribbon. So depending on whether you're using 2007 or 2010, and look at that, they even recommend keyboard shortcuts. Same thing I've been telling people for 15 years. If you use keyboard shortcuts, all of this is moot point. And it's so cool to hear back from people that say, wow, the new version came out and I got right in. See the difference between 2007 and 2010? 2007 had the Office logo. 2010 actually has a file drop down. Okay, there's an interactive guide here that actually lets you see where the old commands were. So it brings up the 2003 interface, and you click on what you're used to, like file, print, print preview, something like that, and it will automatically pop up where that would be on the ribbon. It doesn't actually select it for you, but it shows you kind of like a video program or flash presentation of how to do that. So you go into the application and click on its interface here. I'll just do Word. Let's see what it does here. Notice they've got pretty much everything covered: Outlook, PowerPoint, Project, you name it, Publisher, Visio, whatever, OneNote. And when this pops up here, I should see the 2003 interface. Oh, okay, it's going to take it a minute. There we go. So as this thing pops up, like I said, you're going to see two different things. One is the old way of doing it, and the other is the new way of doing it. And that's really kind of cool because it says, okay, this is where you go to get this answer. And it's really neat. I highly recommend it for absolutely anyone who is being thrown into the new interface. And unfortunately, a lot of places roll out these new products, and until they've seen them, themselves, they don't realize how big of a difference that is. It literally makes people stop being able to produce things until they learn how the interface works. Alright, so it says right here, use your knowledge of the old menus to find the commands on the new interface. Let me hit the start button here. And here we go. Look familiar, right? You got your old file, edit. See this? Rest the mouse pointer over a command to learn its new location. Click on the command, and hey, look at this. Permission. Look, I like this. In a document library or on my computer. Some 2003 commands don't have an equivalent in 2010. To find out how to do the tasks you used to do with this command, unfortunately, you're going to have to go into Word. You know why? Because they don't do versioning in 2007 and 2010. Versions are gone. They use SharePoint now for doing versions. So if you need to keep track of versioning, you're going to want to transition. And there's actually a tool for that as well out on Microsoft's website to convert your versions into SharePoints. Alright, so anyway, absolutely any command. Notice the keyboard shortcuts right here. Control O, Control S, Control P. If you had just been looking an inch to the right for the last 10 or 15 years, you would have seen these guys, and if you made use of them, you could do that instead. But here it is right here. To find this command in 2010, File tab, then Save, or the Quick Access toolbar and Save. Let's go to a tricky one. Tools, Options. To find this, go to the File tab, and then Options. Alright, track changes, that's a good one. See, Control-Shift-E is a quick, easy way of getting to it. And I want you to see this. It says, go to the Review tab, then to the Tracking group, Track Changes. I'm going to click it. Look at that. Flips it over to the 2010 version and says, go to here, then to here. There you have it. Okay, I'm going to hit and try another command. See how it flips over? Now we're back into the 2003 interface. Oh, the one I was asking about, print preview. Alright, it's always been a piece of paper with a thing here. Now, it gives you the text that says, here's how you get there, or if you click it, it says, go here. Go to File, Print, and then it shows your document right there. There's the preview. And you can zoom in, zoom out, all that kind of good stuff. Okay, just wanted you to see this tool because not that many people are aware that it even exists. Just go to Microsoft's website, Microsoft.com, go to the Microsoft Office area, and you'll actually see links for new to the ribbon and a new user interface and stuff like that, just go there. Or if you want to do a search, you can see it's right here. It's called the Interactive Menu to Ribbon Guide. All right, let's get back into our presentation.